Hello friends and potential friends. Well, here we are at my mom's new place. I'm out close to the road, so this is the part facing the road. Nice house here, lots of roses, and there's our irrigation ditch. I'm still not adjusted to that, but I'll figure it out. Beautiful roses. Oh, look at those things. And here's the side yard. It's at least 2, probably closer to 300 or 400 feet. Roadside access. Comes all the way to this fence here. And a little bit of a wild area here still. I have been doing some clearing with my lawn tractor. So let's walk back onto the property. Here's the other side of the house, and then that behind the house is the pump house. Beautiful yard here. And I've been clearing a lot of this back here in the corner. That other building you see right there is the chicken coop, and then there's another building next to that that has a concrete floor in it. We'll find something to do with that. And then the blue one back there is the garage. And that basically is what added to the value of the property. To be honest, when the property was sold, they put zero value on that house. It was in pretty rough shape, but my brother-in-law has been working on it steady for the last few months since they closed. He's already rewired just about everything. He's in there running wires in one of the bedrooms right now. He's also redone a lot of the plumbing, and we haven't quite gotten to the point of putting the toilet back in, but it's close. And speaking of close, Mom's getting close too. She may show up today, but she's got the 2 campers they're bringing, so they'll have a place to stay until we get everything straightened out here. But that house is almost livable. My brother-in-law has been doing a lot of work on it, and I am really impressed. I'm his unskilled labor whenever he finds something that he can use another hand with. Let's walk around the property itself a little bit. And here we are. I believe this is the north side, and the property line goes back practically forever. Got a couple of fruit trees over in here. I'm not sure how well they're going to do in the shade. They were here before we got here. That's a semi-dwarf 20th century Asian pear, and it's got some new growth on it. This one over here is a semi-dwarf curl-free pear. And currently I'm not seeing any growth on that one. And then finally over here we have a semi-dwarf red gold nectarine. And I'm not sure about that one either, but I have learned to give them plenty of time. This whole corner here was overgrown about 3 or 4 foot deep when I got here. And I spent one full day just driving around on that lawn tractor clearing this stuff out. It's looking a lot better now. That's the neighbor's property here and more of Mom's property. Basically where we're at right now, if you consider the place where the house is at to be part 1, we've entered part 2 now. And part 2 keeps on going back till we get to this fence. And then we'll head back across. Now these things here were growing all over the place in this corner. I forget what my sister called them, cockleburs or something like that. But they try to take over, and we've been fighting them back. Have to be careful in here because the previous owner of the property collected metal. Just about any kind of metal you can imagine. And so we've got metal all over the place in here. Oh, now this building probably will be taken down. It's already leaning. There's some wood in there we can use for other purposes, but it's not really usable the way it is right now. And got some firewood laying out here. That's because this big round metal thing here is a firewood bin. We do have a wood stove in the house. We do also have electric baseboard heaters, but primarily wood stove, so we'll be making use of that. More metal. There's part of a swing set. There's another part of it over here, along with various pieces of chicken wire. I've found rolls and rolls of barbed wire. Any place you see that hasn't been mowed in here is because there's quite a bit of metal laying in there still. So I've got a lot to do on that stuff. Let's walk over and look at the chicken coop. The coop itself is not in real bad shape, but the chicken run is going to be, well, I think we're going to have to just tear it down and rebuild it. Haven't decided whether we'll go with another chicken run or get some more electric fence and just start using electric fence to give the chickens a run. The coop itself, hopefully the camera can pick this up, but it's a big chicken coop. She could put a lot of chickens in here. I'd estimate at least 10 foot deep, maybe 10 foot wide. And for some reason, there are no nesting boxes in here. So I'm not sure what they did for that. But needs a lot of cleaning up and a lot of work to make it critter proof, but that'll give me something to do this summer. Maybe next year we'll be ready to put some chickens in it. Now the run itself, yeah, it's pretty much falling apart. I mean, it was completely enclosed at one time, but it's going to take some work. And I think the best plan is just to tear it down and rebuild it. Now we're still out here on the second section of the property. Oh, let's look over at this building. This building, the door's in bad shape, but it's got a concrete floor. Ceiling, or the roof is not in terribly bad shape, but it's old wooden shingle. And I think I'll probably tear that off and put a metal roof on it. Once I decide what to use this thing for, it is a nice sized building, and that concrete floor is going to come in handy. So we'll work on that as time goes forward. Figure out what we're going to do with it. And here's the side of the garage. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek in here. I've got some of my stuff in here. We've got all kinds of tools, but this is a nice garage and workshop. That really is the money maker for this property. It's already concrete floor, metal siding, metal roof, good shape, plenty of workbenches, plenty of room for vehicles. I bet my little sister's RV would fit in here, and I know the one that I'm going to be getting would fit in here. And probably still leave room for a couple more cars. So that's a good space. And then finally, here in section 2, behind the garage, this is the space that I'm considering for the initial garden. It is, right now we're facing south, and this square is pretty much square. It'll get a little shade from the garage in the morning, but then it'll get direct sunlight the rest of the day till the sun goes down out there in the west somewhere. Now the ground itself is hard clay, almost like concrete. In fact, it's got a lot of gravel and rocks built into it. But what I'm thinking is just, if you can see that, the piles of dirt along the back side there, that's where they dug out one of the irrigation ditches that goes back into the property. And I'm thinking I could take that dirt that's piled up and just spread it out even here to try to even this ground up a little bit, and then put in about 6 or 8 raised beds like the ones I used back in Florida. And I think that will be a good initial garden for my mom and sister to get started with. There's an irrigation ditch right at the back end of it there. We can just throw a pump in there and pump water into drip lines to irrigate raised beds. And I think this will work out pretty good. Let me break this for right now, and then we'll head back and look at the back a little bit. So here, we're now on section 3 of the property. Goes from that barbed wire fence you see over there on the other side of that dirt pile. The cows are on the neighbor's property, or at least those ones are. Over to that barbed wire fence that you see over on that side. It looks as if somebody was contemplating building a house back in here, because there are some rather well leveled out areas. They've done some test digging to see if see about septic, but there's plenty of trash and scrap lumber and all kinds of stuff out here. But this property goes back, well, let's see, you might be able to see those buildings in the distance out there. That's a water treatment plant. And there's a fairly good sized creek between here and there. My mom's property goes well past these close trees here. In fact, it goes on past those trees you see in the distance back there. Total of just about 7 acres. As we walk back here, I have to be a little bit careful because of the landmines around here. because one of the neighbors has got some cattle on the property right now. But we'll just walk back here, but I want to see just how far back we can get back here. I tried walking back here a couple days after I got here, but it was an irrigation day and there was a lot of water running through here. So we're not irrigating today. Maybe I can get a little bit farther back. Oop, there's one of our irrigation ditches that comes through. That's heading back, and ultimately it makes it back to the stream back here. I haven't actually been over on this side of it yet. Oop, and I might not be able to because the water's kind of spreading out a little bit back here. Okay, I'm just about at the side of the property, and you might be able to see the barbed wire fence over on the other side. So that's how wide the place is. I see we got some rock piles back here. See if I can walk through here without getting wet. Nope, that's not going to happen. Let's walk back around this way. It's right here where this big rock is at. Apparently it's blocking the irrigation ditch from going on to the edge of the property, and instead it's spreading it out here where you see all the green. Funny, I'm not seeing the cows that were on here. Maybe he took them off. And as we get back here, we have quite a collection of junk. Old tires, pieces of metal, coils of barbed wire. That looks like an old trailer frame. 55-gallon drums. Lots of 55-gallon drums. I know I can find a use for those. And right at this point, we've pretty much reached the back end of the neighbor's property. You see the big fence post right there. This property just goes straight across, and we have this little rock wall, a few more tires, and Mom's property keeps on going. I don't know whether you want to call this part 4 or what, but right back in here, a little bit of water coming in from the irrigation ditch that runs along the south side of the property. But Mom's property goes back beyond those trees you see there, behind the neighbor's property. So it's L-shaped, and I'm not really sure how far back it goes. And I hope you'll excuse me, I just got a text from my little sister, and she said that my youngest sister and my mom are getting real close. She tried to talk them into stopping at my sister's house, which is just up street, but says they're a bit too excited, so they may be showing up here in the next few minutes. But this field back here is more of my mom's property. It goes back beyond these trees, beyond those trees in the distance, and I'm going to try to walk back there farther, but I'm starting to see more irrigation water coming across here. So I'm not sure how much farther I'm going to be able to make it. I really need boots to be going back in here, but I'm going to try it anyway. There's a little bit of an irrigation ditch there, and I'm not really clear how much farther the property goes to the south. I'd have to go dig through those trees to see. But as I head down in here more and more, all of these trees are still on Mom's property. Let's see, the cows were bedded down under these trees the last time I came in here. And we're going down and down and down. I'll just follow the cow paths. That seems to be the easiest way to do it. I see a few more trees over here, and I see a fence right back here. Looks like I made it. Here we are at the back of my mom's property. And there's just a little bit of a bluff right here, and then it drops off down to the creek. Here we are. It's dropped down in elevation quite a bit to the point that I can't even see the house from here. Let's walk over this way. It's like a little bit of a clearing. Maybe I'll get a glimpse of the creek. Yep, keeps on going this way a little ways. And somewhere down in there I hear water running. So that's where the creek is at down there. That's where all the irrigation water eventually winds up. I can't get too much farther through there, so I'm not going to even try. The property goes on for a little ways that way. And let's see how far we can go over this way. Well, we're starting down into the trees. going to be real easy going under here. I can see that the cows have been in here. Nice and shady anyway. And it looks like we've got more water here. This must be where the other part of the irrigation ditch comes through as it's heading to that creek. So let's head back up, and I believe we're in the lower part of the L shape now. And it looks like that rock wall is pretty close to the edge of the property line. So I'm down under the trees in the lower leg of the L. Got a picnic table here that's turned over. Let's climb back up here on the hill. Yep, there's the fence, the south side of the property line. Comes through here somewhere. See, that fence is kind of mangled a little bit. And let's see if I can get over the hills or the rocks here. There've been critters in here. If I fall and bust my butt, you're free to laugh. Yep, there's some more water. That's where the irrigation ditch is coming through. So I'll just keep climbing up here, coming close to the back end of the neighbor's property. I see the fence up there. So I'm going to head back across this way. A lot of rocks under those trees there, but they're along the south side of the lower part of the property, so it's not really a big deal. Need to find me a driveway to get through here. Okay, there's the corner of the neighbor's property. So if I can go up over this rise right here, I should be able to see the house again. Found another soggy spot. Really got to get some rubber boots for coming back here. Okay, getting through most of it. Mud's trying to grab my shoes. There's a tire to save myself on. So I guess now we're back up to part 3. And that's the property. There sure is a lot of potential. I could put a food forest back here that would be a true forest. Well, okay, I think that's a pretty good tour for now. So let me wrap this up and head back to the house. See the neighbors. Okay, hope you enjoyed the tour. See you next time.